So before this review gets underway, this is again a special thank you to viewers and contributors like you who watch this content, leave comments, likes, dislikes, who subscribe, and to those who support this channel through donations. Thank you. That's awesome. And let's get underway. So now that I'm only feeling half past dead, I can finally do this review. And here we go. So Phantom Soldiers came out in I think it's 1987. And of course, it's like many of those old tropes during this time where it was like takes place in Vietnam and it's jungle warfare. You know, ever since Predator and Platoon, and it's one of those kinds of movies, but it's actually pretty good. And so basically, it's about Texas Ranger Daniel Custer leaves for Vietnam to find his brother Michael, a Green Beret lieutenant who has been reported missing in action. Michael's squad was searching for a mysterious group of Phantom soldiers that have been using U.S.-made arms for massacring civilians and killing unarmed civilians. Oh, villages, sorry. Massacring villages and killing unarmed civilians. Daniel goes out on his own into the jungles of Vietnam to find his brother and to stop these killers. So it's a very interesting movie. And of course, I'll try not to spoil it. But so him and his Green Berets, they try and find out who's committing these war like crimes and atrocities. But clearly, we all know if there's an organization out there that's doing heinous war crimes, it's more than likely a three-letter agency. But yeah, this movie essentially starts off in one hell of a intro, and these bad guys, they're armed to the teeth. They have a cool costume design, and that's one thing. This independent movie, I don't know what kind of budget they had, but they made it work with what they have. And that's one thing that's pretty cool and fantastic about this movie, is they used what they had. When you think one dude's about to get away, oh god, oh shit, someone's got morbid sense of humor. Work with what they had, and as far as I know, the actors in this movie are essentially nobodies. I have no idea who these people are. Maybe they've done small parts in TV or movies, but I'm pretty sure that most of these names are just nobodies, as far as I know. But yeah, the action's great. The sound design is fantastic, and like I said, for a little movie in the 1987, that's just an independent schlock. Like it has a mighty strength to it. And it's good, it's entertaining, and of course, I can't recommend it more times now, but we're going to get into a little bit of spoilers here, so if you don't want the movie spoiled, just leave this review, it'll be quick. But yeah, so basically what it is, it's essentially what we said in the beginning. It's the fucking CIA, and them using these Phantom soldiers and plausible deniability to essentially euthanize the enemy populace, to deny the enemy resources of the human variety. So, of course, you know, in times of war, things get pretty fucked up. But the thing that's interesting about this, and that's kind of macabre, is this movie kind of touches on the darker side of Vietnam, because there was like generals and commanders where they swept war crimes and massacres under the rug. And there are sometimes, even Vietnam veterans have said that command didn't care about the objectives or whatever, but the only thing they cared about is how many kills, how many enemies they got. So as far as that stands, you know, it's kind of, for the movie, it is loosely betrayed on some clandestine crap going on during that time. Of course, when you're committing war crimes in the name of democracy and freedom, it's all of a sudden A-okay. But just don't do it when you're literally anywhere outside of the Western Hemisphere. Then you're bad and a war criminal, and you should be brought to The Hague. But of course, that's just the world for you, right? Double standards everywhere. The United Nations doesn't have any fucking standards. NATO doesn't have any standards. And this movie has a fine job portraying that. And the movie does do a good job of portraying what the Green Beret and the Special Forces were fighting in the name of freedom, American decency, and the very idea of like democracy and freedom. But then on the other side, you have the shadow organization that's just going out and just euthanizing entire swaths of people because they can and because it's an objectives. So again, like the whole Vietnam thing, you have those people who are fighting for the United States, the representation of it, and then you had some that maybe not so much. Maybe were more on the sociopathic killing side, or the side of furthering control of a three-letter agency. So this movie does do a fine job of portraying the two sides of the paradigm of war. You know, there's people who fight and maybe didn't have a choice, or those who volunteered, and then those who are maybe just crazy psychopathic, sociopathic killers. So of course it goes back to the old adage: war brings out the best in some and the worst in others. But this movie, for it being in 1987 and it being, you know, your typical jungle warfare movie, it's fantastic. Does it borrow one scene in particular from The Predator? It sure does, but it's great. It's good fun. I recommend it. Of course, it's on Tubi. And if it's one thing I have to say, I fucking love Tubi for letting me find awesome, obscure movies like this that are just cheesy, fun camp. And I love it. And I don't really have too many negatives. But I will say, for, again, the small budget they had, they made it frickin' work. And of course, the design of the Phantom Soldiers is just awesome. They even, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but even how the Phantom Soldiers operate, there's a clear difference, and they show this and contrast a little bit between the Green Beret Special Forces and how these guys operate. You can tell that they have different spheres of training and from different organizations. And I thought that was cool how they did that. So again, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but it's a good watch. So I give this one a glowing review. It's perfect. It's just awesome for independent, small note, like nothing movie. Good watch. And I'll end it here. See you next time. And take it easy. Stay happy, stay healthy. And again, till next time.